Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anjali, your physiotherapist. Before starting for today's session, I would like to give thanks to Dr. Piyush Sir for giving me such a nice opportunity. Today we will discuss about lumbo pelvic rhythm. ये lumbo pelvic rhythm होता क्या है? कुछ तो रिलेशनशिप है, कुछ तो रिदमिक रिलेशनशिप है बिटवीन लंबार स्पाइन एंड पेल्विस, बट एग्जैक्टली होता क्या है एक जॉइंट मूव करते ही दूसरा जॉइंट मूव होता है, ये तो सब लोग ऑब्जर्व करते हैं. कभी लॉर्डोसिस बढ़ता है, कभी लॉर्डोसिस कम होता है, बट कब क्या होता है ये सब अभी हम जानेंगे थ्रू लंबो पेल्विक रिदम. बेसिकली द काइनेमेटिक रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन योर लंबार स्पाइन, pelvis and hip joint is in sagittal plane is known as lumbo pelvic rhythm. So what all sagittal plane movements are? For lumbar spine, they are either lumbar flexion and extension, increasing lumbar lordosis and flattening or decrease in lumbar lordosis. For pelvis, they are anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. And for hip joint, they are flexion and extension. The relationship between all these movements is known as lumbo-pelvic rhythm. Lumbo-pelvic rhythm is of two types. First is ipsidirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm and second is contradirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm. Now we will discuss about first type, which is ipsidirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm. The sagittal plane movement between lumbar spine and pelvis in same direction is known as lumbo pelvic rhythm. अभी मैं इसका एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ आपको. सपोज कि आप खड़े हो या बैठे हो और आपको आगे झुक के कुछ तो ज़मीन से उठाना है. जैसे कि अभी मैं बैठी हूँ और मुझे ऐसे आगे झुक के कुछ तो ज़मीन से उठाना है, तो तभी होता है अपना इप्सी डायरेक्शनल लंबो पेल्विक रिदम. मतलब ही अपना लंबार स्पाइन और पेल्विस सेम डायरेक्शन में जाते हैं. Biomechanically, how it happens, which I will explain you now. Initially, head and trunk starts flexing anteriorly. At that time, your pelvis shifts little bit posteriorly to keep your center of gravity over your base of support. At around 45 degree, this movement is actually controlled by your back extension muscle up to around 45 degree. And at around 45 degree, your posterior longitudinal ligament becomes taut and your facet joint gets approximated. So, muscle gets relaxed. That approximation and tight ligament provides proper restraint for further movement. At the end of all the vertebral segments movement, your spine gets locked. So, how will you reach forward? You have not even reached till ground, but how will you go further more? So, at that time, your pelvis start tilting or rotating anteriorly. This anterior tilting of pelvis is controlled by your gluteus maximus and hamstring. This anterior pelvis will take place till the maximum length of your hamstring and gluteus maximus has reached. Now while coming back, initially pelvis starts rotating backwards by the reverse muscle action, and then back extensors take your spine again in the original muscle. This synchronized movement between your lumbar spine and pelvis is known as ipsidirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm. ये ipsidirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm का यूज़ क्या है? तो ये ipsidirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm आपका आगे झुकने का एक्सटेंट बढ़ाता है. नहीं तो आप बीच ही रास्ते में आधे ही मूवमेंट पे अटक जाओगे बिकॉज ऑफ योर बायोमेकेनिक्स ऑफ स्पाइन. बट at that point, your anterior tilting of pelvis helps you to increase extent of forward bending. This is all about first type. Now we will move on to the second type, which is contradirectional lumbo-pelvic rhythm. In this, the sagittal plane movement of lumbar spine and pelvis are in opposite direction. There is short arc tilting of pelvis either anteriorly or posteriorly, with the trunk remaining नियर स्टेशनरी. इसका एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ. जैसे कि आप खड़े खड़े या फिर जस्ट बैठे बैठे, सपोज़ कि आप बैठे बैठे लंबा एंटेरियर एंड पोस्टेरियर टिल्ट कर रहे हो, इसके साथ आपका लंबा स्पाइन भी मूव होता है बट इन अपोजिट डायरेक्शन. लाइक इन केस ऑफ एंटेरियर टिल्टिंग ऑफ पेल्विस देयर इज इंक्रीज इन लंबार लॉर्डोसिस, एंड इन केस ऑफ posterior pelvic, there is flattening or reduction in your lumbar spine curvature. This kind of synchronized movement between your lumbar spine and pelvis is known as contradirectional lumbopelvic rhythm. इसका यूज़ किधर कर सकते हैं? जैसे कि मैंने फर्स्ट टाइप का यूज़ आपको बताया, सेकेंड टाइप का यूज़ किस इसमें कर सकते हैं? बिकॉज ट्रंक तो स्टेशनरी रहता है, सिर्फ पेल्विस एंड लंबा स्पाइन ही मूव हो रहा है। इसका यूज़ ऐसे टाइप के फंक्शन में करते हैं जिधर आपको पेल्विस के इंडिपेंडेंट मूवमेंट चाहिए विथ योर ट्रंक एंड हेड एंड आइज रिमेनिंग स्टेशनरी, like some movements of dancing or walking where you need to keep your entire trunk along with your head stationary, but you need independent movement of your lumbar spine, and that time that movement of pelvis and lumbar spine goes in opposite direction with trunk keeping in straight line. So this is all about second type. Apart from these two types, you may find some variation in lumbopelvic rhythm. That is usually because of pathomechanical changes taking place in your body. This is all about lumbopelvic rhythm. Now we will revise our entire session. What is lumbopelvic rhythm? The kinematic relationship between lumbar spine, pelvis and hip joint in sagittal plane movements. What are the types are? First is ipsidirectional lumbopelvic rhythm, which helps to increase the extent of forward bending, and second type is contradirectional lumbopelvic rhythm, which helps to keep your trunk and head stationary, allowing your pelvis and lumbar spine movement independent of other body. So you all enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.